Tonight, President-elect Trump's administration starts to come into focus with immigration as a top priority in his return to the White House. Trump names his new border czar with ties to Project 2025, and Elon Musk and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. are playing key roles in the transition, what we know so far. Plus, a Spirit Airlines flight from Florida to Haiti hit by gunfire while trying to touch down. A flight attendant is wounded, bullet holes visible in the cabin, where that gunfire came from, and where the plane made an emergency landing. And
when you look at symptoms and behavioral and neurocognitive issues, it's the full gamut. It's sleep, it's attention, it's vigilance, it's decision-making.
It could explain the suffering of a generation of combat veterans. Are blast waves from weapons causing traumatic brain injuries? Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including a verdict is reached in the high-profile Delphi murder case. The defendant accused of killing 2 teenage girls while they were hiking. One of the victims recording the killer on her cell phone. Plus, dangerous wildfires burn in the Northeast. Drought conditions creating a wildfire emergency across multiple states. And another sensational year for jazz star Samara Joy. Our sit-down conversation about her 2 latest Grammy nominations and her new album that is a portrait of her life right now. But we do begin with the terrifying flight from Fort Lauderdale to Haiti. A Spirit Airline passenger jet struck by gunfire as it approached the airport in Port-au-Prince. The pilot quickly pulling up, diverting to the airport in nearby Santiago, Santo Domingo. This video shows bullet holes inside the plane after it landed in Santo Domingo, one piercing a wall, others striking an overhead bin. A flight attendant was treated for minor injuries. This comes the same day the Haitian prime minister was fired by the country's ruling council. Haiti's last president was murdered in July of 2021. No elections have been held since then. Meanwhile, the capital city of Port-au-Prince has been ravaged by gang violence, and tonight the airport is closed as American and JetBlue have suspended all flights into the country. ABC's Gio Benitez leads us off.
You're looking at the inside of a Spirit Airlines jet damaged by a barrage of bullets fired by Haitian gangs as it came in for landing at Port-au-Prince, Haiti, full of passengers. Flight data shows the plane that left from Fort Lauderdale Monday morning descending to 550 feet before it was hit by gunfire, bypassing the runway and diverting to the Dominican Republic, where it landed safely. The airline says one flight attendant was treated for minor injuries. Jean-David Derouleau was on that plane. He says the wheels were down, getting ready for landing when the bullets entered the cabin.
I heard clock, 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 3 times. And a couple of us in the plane, we recognized the noise as being gunshots.
The FAA saying tonight 2 other flights bound for Haiti were also diverted as a precaution. The State Department warning of gang-led efforts to stop travel into the country. The airport is now closed. It was just last month when a UN helicopter with 18 people on board was also fired upon by gangs. It also diverted and no one was injured. Earlier this year, gunmen perched on rooftops were seen shooting at parked planes on the runway. Tonight, Spirit Airlines saying that plane is out of service and it is suspending flights to both major airports in Haiti pending an investigation. And Linsey, American Airlines and JetBlue have also suspended service between Haiti and the U.S. until at least Thursday, but more flights could be canceled. Linsey.
Gio, thank you. President-elect Donald Trump is moving quickly on his #1 priority, mass deportations, tapping hardliner Tom Homan to be his border czar and longtime aide Stephen Miller to a top policy position. And we've just learned President-elect Trump has asked Florida Republican Mike Waltz to be his national security advisor. This comes after he announced 2 New Yorkers for top spots in his administration, Elise Stefanik for UN ambassador and former Representative Lee Zeldin for EPA chief. Our Maria Villarreal and Jay O'Brien are standing by with more, but first, our Rachel Scott reports.
Tonight, Donald Trump filling out his administration, naming 2 longtime loyalists to implement his signature campaign promise, an immigration crackdown featuring the largest deportation program America has ever seen. Trump set to announce his former senior White House advisor, Stephen Miller, as deputy chief of staff for policy. Miller, an immigration hardliner, has made it clear he wants all undocumented immigrants out of the country.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
Trump today also announcing his former ICE director, Tom Homan, will fill the new role of border czar. The president-elect saying Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Trump has not said how the mass deportation would happen or how much it would cost. But Homan this morning saying criminals would be the first to go.
President Trump's been clear. Public safety threats and national security threats will be the priority because they have to be. They pose the most danger to this country. So we're going to prioritize those groups.
During his time leading ICE during the first Trump administration, thousands of migrants were separated from their children. On 60 Minutes, he was recently asked if that would happen again.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Both Miller and Homan are deeply loyal to Donald Trump, a critical factor as the president-elect builds out his White House team. Today, Trump announcing one of his chief defenders in Congress, Congresswoman Linsey Davis of New York, will be his new ambassador to the United Nations, and former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin will serve as EPA administrator. On the flip side, Trump publicly icing out two former administration officials who have criticized him, writing on social media, "I will not be inviting former Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join the Trump administration."
Starting to learn who is in and who is out. Rachel Scott joins us now. And Rachel, I know that we're also getting some information about Melania Trump's plans. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so we know that President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump will be meeting face-to-face inside the Oval Office at the White House on Wednesday. An invitation was also extended by First Lady Dr. Jill Biden to the incoming First Lady Melania Trump. We ultimately are learning tonight from sources that Melania Trump will not travel with the President-elect to Washington on Wednesday. Of course, this is a break in that long-standing tradition of having both the incoming administration meet the current administration face-to-face. Lindsay.
All right, Rachel Scott, our thanks to you from West Palm Beach. And with Republicans claiming control of the Senate, 3 senators are now battling for the top spot in GOP leadership. ABC's Jay O'Brien is watching the contenders closely. And Jay, the vote is scheduled for this week. What are we expecting here?
Yeah, the vote's scheduled for Wednesday. Secret ballot, Lindsay. 3 top contenders at this hour. 1, the leading candidate so far, John Thune, the number 2 Republican in the Senate currently. In the middle there, you see the number 2 possible contender, who was John Cornyn, previously the number 2 in the Senate, Republican of Texas, also a popular Republican senator. And then, somewhat the long shot contender here is Rick Scott, Republican of Florida, close ally of Donald Trump's, trying to win this based on his closeness to Donald Trump, his allegiance to Donald Trump. Donald Trump did get a number of new Senate Republicans elected, delivered the majority in that chamber for Republicans, but it's just unclear for Rick Scott if pushing from MAGA world and Trump allies like Elon Musk and his closeness to Trump is really going to deliver him this job.
Well, we will know soon. And while President-elect Donald Trump has yet to make an endorsement of any candidate, he's already started making demands for whoever does become the new majority leader, calling for that person to agree to recess appointments. Tell us why he's pressing this issue, and what does it mean as far as checks and balances on the presidency?
So the president technically has the power to make what are called recess appointments. And what that is if there is, for instance, a cabinet official who steps down, usually in the middle of an administration, and their Congress is out on recess. Now, the Senate typically tries to check the president on doing that by not going into recess for too long of a time, because they want the power to vet nominees, to hold hearings, and to provide that kind of advice and consent. Now, what Donald Trump is saying to these new Republicans who want to lead the Senate is, allow me to make recess appointments, step aside, and he's not going to make them in the middle of his term. He's going to make them at the beginning of his term and try to stop Democrats from slowing his nominees for various key cabinet roles, and it would also allow him to put some nominees forward and put them into jobs that might be opposed to some moderate Republican senators and certainly opposed to Democrats, some controversial picks. He wants that power that the Senate has really never ceded in modern political history to various presidents.
And Jay, of course, we're still waiting to find out which party will take control of the House of Representatives. What's the latest on those outstanding races?
Well, more than a dozen races still not called, razor thin. Republicans are just on the cusp of taking the House majority. They need 218 votes in order to do that. Republicans, a better showing than some expected in the House of Representatives, close to taking a very slim control of that chamber. And if that happens, then Donald Trump has the White House, the Senate, the House, if it does ultimately get called for Republicans, as it's trending, and of course, a conservative majority on the Supreme Court too, Lindsay.
All right, really a monopoly there. Jay O'Brien, our thanks to you. We turn now to ABC's Maria Villarreal for a look at what all of this might mean for the country's immigration policy. Maria, let's listen to a little bit of what Trump's pick for borders czar had to say at the Republican National Convention this summer.
As a guy who spent 34 years deporting illegal aliens, I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now.
Maria, what can you tell us about Tom Homan's record?
I think what is really important to know about Tom is really where he stands when it comes to the policies that he implemented or was a part of when he was a deputy director, acting director of ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. So, you know, a lot of what people talk about during the first Trump administration is the zero tolerance policy and family separation. You know, Homan had intimate knowledge of how this policy was going to be put in place, the effectiveness of it. And I would imagine, Lindsay, what we're going to see in this, you know, new administration is they're going to take a cue from what happened during the last one, where they had some missteps, and how they are going to fix that to move forward and actually get a lot of what Trump wanted to do during his first administration, how he's going to get that done in this second iteration.
We're hearing that Trump is expected to announce Stephen Miller to be his deputy chief of staff for policy. What's his record on immigration?
Again, another one that is in close company with obviously Tom Homan. These they're cut from the same cloth when it comes to the hardline stance of immigration. I think the difference that we're going to see, you know, Stephen Miller from the first administration, the first time Trump was in office, to now is that he's taking on a new role, right? And this is going to force him to have to talk and work with both sides of the aisle here, especially when it comes to immigration. That doesn't necessarily mean that he is not going to continue on with those hardline stances, really strict policies, try to push them forward. But I think he's going to have to work with both sides of the aisle to try and get anything passed.
By and large, what kind of reaction are you hearing from your contacts along the border as we start to learn about some of these appointments?
You know, listen, I think that's the most important factor right now until really we see what's going to happen with this new administration. How exactly are the nonprofits, you know, getting ready for this, but also the agents in the field. I've spoken with a number of agents from both Border Patrol, ICE, HSI, which is Homeland Security, even people within the HHS, you know, administration, which is Health and Human Services. They're all very concerned with how this could go down. However, a lot of them are trying not to get too concerned or in the weeds with what the policies could be, because at the end of the day, right, their mission within these federal agencies stays the same. That being said, a lot of Border Patrol agents have told me that they are actually looking forward to this new administration. They felt like their hands were tied on a number of things that especially were happening in the field during the Biden-Harris administration. But they are hoping to keep some of the policies in place that were implemented over the last year. The executive order, they said that this has greatly helped them in the field and drastically decreased what they are seeing along the border. And also the CBP-1 app. A number of agents have said this is what helped them put their house in order. It forced families, migrants, to obviously get on a scheduling app and use that to claim asylum here in the U.S. And on the nonprofit side of this, you know, listen, this is a tough time for them. A number of those agencies have said they scaled back over the last year to 2 years. They felt like they were in a good place with this administration, but now they're ramping things back up again in anticipation of what could happen in January.
All right, Maria Villarreal, appreciate your time and insight. Thank you. Now to the guilty verdict in a case that captivated the nation, the murder of two young girls, best friends, Libby German and Abby Williams, while they were hiking on a trail in Delphi, Indiana, nearly 8 years ago. Tonight, a jury has convicted Richard Allen on all counts. Alex Perez reports from Delphi tonight.
Nearly 8 years after the horrific murders of two girls rocked the small town of Delphi, Indiana, making national headlines, a jury finding Richard Allen, a local husband and father, guilty. Outside the courthouse, cheers. The verdict, a relief for many in this community.
Today is the day. It's been a long time coming.
The bodies of 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German were found with their throats slashed the day after they vanished during a hike. Police credited Libby for capturing critical evidence right before the murders. Grainy video of their killer along with that chilling audio.
This young lady's a hero, there's no doubt. To have enough presence of mind to activate the video system on her cell phone.
There was no DNA evidence, but prosecutors linked an unspent bullet from the crime scene to Allen's gun. The heartbroken families would wait years for a trial.
I had so much faith that our detectives would keep working on this until they got our answers and justice for the girls.
Allen admitted to the murders more than 60 times, the defense calling them false confessions, saying he was psychotic from months of solitary confinement. But the jury listened intently to Allen confessing to his wife in jailhouse phone calls. A psychologist testifying Allen told her he wanted to rape the girls but ended up killing them when he got startled by someone passing by.
Just an appalling case. And Alex Perez joins us now from Delphi, Indiana. Alex, what's next for Richard Allen?
Well, Lindsay, Richard Allen could face 130 years behind bars when he's sentenced in December. After the verdict, Libby's sister posted nearly 8 years. Today is the day. Lindsay?
Alex Perez for us. Thanks so much, Alex. Let's bring in ABC News legal contributor and criminal defense attorney, Miss Shauna Lloyd. And Shauna, there was not much physical evidence here. Are you surprised at all that the prosecution's case led to this verdict?
No, Lindsay, I'm really not, because when we look at the evidence they did have, which centered heavily around the ballistics with the evidence from the shot that was found at the scene, along with the actual confessions that the jury got to hear themselves, I think that carried a lot of weight with them because these confessions were given directly in his voice, his narrative, and they got to hear that. It's very hard to combat that when a defendant has a confession that has been recorded and it is heard by a jury.
What do you think of the defense's case trying to prove Allen's repeated confessions were part of a mental health crisis?
You know, they really tried to have them excluded before the jury could even hear them because their basis was he was going through a mental health crisis and therefore these statements were not voluntary. Clearly, the judge sought to have them put in, and the jury felt like these carried a lot of weight. So now let's remember, I do expect to see these items come up on appeal because I do think the defense felt like they should not have been admitted at trial.
Allen faces up to 130 years in prison. He'll be sentenced next month. What are his legal options now before and after the sentencing?
So right now we have the sentencing come up. Let's remember we are going to get a recommendation from the sentencing guidelines. We'll also get recommendations from the state as well as the defense. The judge will pose all of that. After that is likely once he's been sentenced, we will then see the appeal take place.
All right, Shauna Lloyd, always appreciate your time and insight.
Great to see you, Lindsay.
For a deeper dive into this case, catch the latest episode of Impact by Nightline, streaming right now on Hulu. Now to the wildfires on both coasts tonight. New wind advisories for western wildfires, while fires in the Northeast are being fueled by the drought that has been building for months. The Jennings Creek fire on the New York-New Jersey border burning more than 5,000 acres. Local fire departments stepping in to help fight the flames. Ginger will have the track in a moment, but first, Trevor Ault is on the fire line in New Jersey.
Tonight, apocalyptic scenes from an out-of-control wildfire burning just outside New York City.
It is almost impossible for the fire department to get to these as these pockets continue to burn completely out of control.
Black Hawk helicopters from the National Guard now joining in the fight.
These local resources have been running and gunning since Saturday when this thing really blew up.
The Jennings Creek fire burning more than 5,000 acres along the New York-New Jersey border, and it's now deadly after authorities say a tree fell on 18-year-old Dariel Vasquez, killing him as he helped clear brush for firefighters. Emotional family, friends, and teammates gathering at his alma mater, releasing balloons in remembrance of the star high school athlete.
He was a really good friend. If you needed help, he was going to be there to back you up.
Extreme drought conditions have been fueling multiple fires in the Northeast. In New York City over the weekend, the FDNY fighting flames in Brooklyn's Prospect Park. Meanwhile, in the West, containment is up on the mountain fire outside Los Angeles. Authorities say nearly 250 structures have been damaged or destroyed.
And Lindsay, firefighters here are concerned the winds are going to pick up even more tomorrow, and there are red flag warnings in effect from New York City all the way up to Boston. Lindsay?
Those winds very problematic. Trevor, thank you. Let's get right to ABC's chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, who's tracking it all for us. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Lindsay, yes, we're starting with the drought issue, right? We've had Philadelphia that smashed their record of consecutive days without rain. It was 42. We finally got that measly little bit last night, but that was not going to dent any of these deficits. Some of us in the 6 to even 10-inch range as far as how much we should have had extra for the season, but have not. So drought's the foundation of the problem, but tonight we're going to get this cold front, and that's going to come through with a lot of wind, and it's going to drop relative humidity as low as 30%. So you see Long Island, Lower Hudson Valley, all of Connecticut, all of Massachusetts covered, from Vermont down to Maryland, including all of Delaware. You've got an elevated risk of fire. So we're going to be watching the Northeast, but we also have to check in, especially on that mountain fire there in Ventura County, California. They're still having a windy night, and through tomorrow morning, some of those wind advisories will have gusts upwards of 50, 60 miles per hour in some of the highest elevations. And it's going to become a very active pattern, but especially to the Pacific Northwest. Unfortunately, a lot of the frontal systems that are going to pass aren't going to bring a ton of moisture down into, say, Ventura County, like, you know, to Malibu or something, but you could, by the end of the week, start to see some snowflakes in some of those higher elevations in the Sierra Nevada and up through the Cascades for sure. Just 2 to 6 inches there at the coast, and easily 6 to 12 inches of snow in parts of the Cascades and Sierra. Lindsay?
I'm sure they will welcome any form of precipitation there. Ginger, our thanks to you. A suspect is now in custody after a deadly shooting at Tuskegee University in Alabama. Video shows people hiding behind a car as gunshots rang out during the school's homecoming weekend. Police said one person was killed and at least a dozen others wounded. The suspect was arrested for alleged possession of a machine gun, but police say there may have been more than one shooter. The incident remains under investigation. Now to the war in Ukraine. Russia is reportedly preparing 50,000 troops, including North Koreans, for a major offensive to push Ukraine out of the Russian territory it has seized. It comes as the Kremlin is signaling that they think President-elect Trump will be an improvement over President Joe Biden. Here's our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell.
Tonight, with the U.S. election over, all eyes now on Russia's Vladimir Putin and what he'll do next in the war in Ukraine. 50,000 Russian and North Korean soldiers are now massing in Russia's Kursk region, gearing up for a new offensive to drive the Ukrainians out of the territory they seized over the summer. And tonight, the Kremlin denying reports of a call between President-elect Trump and Vladimir Putin. On the campaign trail, Trump promising a swift end to the war.
I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Trump hasn't commented about that alleged Putin call, but the Kremlin saying Putin's ready to talk, adding a Trump administration would be an improvement from President Biden.
Lindsay, Donald Trump's election expected to put pressure on both sides to end the war soon. And on the battlefield, that means a fierce and bloody land grab. It's going on now, and everybody expects it to accelerate. And the cost in casualties also expected to be catastrophic. Lindsay?
All right, Ian, our thanks to you. President Biden marked Veterans Day for the last time as commander-in-chief today, with Vice President Harris at his side, laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at the Arlington National Cemetery. President Biden said leading the military has been the honor of his life and that now is the time for unity.
This is the moment. This is the moment to come together as a nation, to keep faith in each other. The world is dependent on each of you and all of us, all of you.
It was the first time since the election that the president and vice president have been seen together in public. Still much more to get to here on Prime. The printing era that has some wicked fans getting a wicked surprise. But next, they served their country, and it's left them suffering from brain injuries. Our Ann Flaherty reports.
Baby, oh baby. It was one of the most joyous mornings ever in GMA history.
Okay, and push now. Push 1, 2, 3. Baby's out. Baby boy.
Babies being born in 3 different hospitals live on GMA.
Oh, that's so incredible.
So what's more amazing than being born on TV?
We've had 4 babies so far.
Right.
It's just a beautiful moment.
Well, how about over 22 years later, coming back to GMA? Just wait until you see this live reunion. Baby, oh baby. What a way to celebrate GMA at 50. Thursday.
A Hollywood studio. Want us to make a movie of our podcast?
It's a fabulous cast.
Action. I'm nervous playing you. The fearlessness, the complexity.
Oh, stop. Unless you had more to say.
I don't need an algorithm to tell me that this is box office gold.
Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu and for bundle subscribers on Disney+.
Let's do it. My name is Luke Brown, and with the help of today's biggest star, we're going to explore everything country.
Let's go! Going out on stage live, watching the crowd react. It's magical.
And once you've been there, it is a drug. When you got kids, it's hard to write about anything else.
I told my fans everything.
When everybody brings their story, it really becomes something special.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
3, 2, 1.
It's a 24/7 life together.
It's not about the fear or the risk. It's about the love of flying. 3, 2, 1.
Willis Wu.
You know my name?
For decades, Chinatown's been the epicenter of crime in the city. I need someone on the inside. Follow me.
Jeez. A detective and a waiter. Partners.
Freeze.
Solving cases, catching bad guys.
Can I place an order to go, please?
Well, close!
Welcome back, everyone. This Veterans Day, we take you inside the military's fight to understand a mysterious brain injury that's hurting U.S. troops. After more than 2 decades of war in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, an unknown number of service members suffer from neurological problems that researchers suspect could be linked to the firing of their own weapons, resulting in lasting symptoms like memory loss, migraines, and personality changes. ABC's Ann Flaherty reports from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
First 20 years, I was, in an operational status the entire time. So it was always either going out the door for a deployment or training up for the next one.
How many deployments?
I've got 14 total. So
14 deployments.
Yeah, between Iraq, Afghanistan, and then separate trips to Africa.
Eric is a master sergeant in the U.S. Army Special Forces, stationed here in Fort Liberty in North Carolina. ABC News has agreed only to identify him by his first name and rank because he is still on active duty. His combat mission's classified. Eric says in his 22 years in the Army, he's done it all. Trained in shoot houses, fired anti-tank weapons, and shot mortars.
You get exposed to all of it. We're not just overseas, but also in training.
And in recent years has started experiencing symptoms he couldn't explain: bad headaches, trouble remembering things, and sudden bursts of anger.
You don't have to be a doctor to understand when you stand too close to something and your head rings.
One day, while at home with his kids, Eric had a wake-up call. A moment, he says, when he snapped.
Our neighbor's dogs hopped over the fence, started chasing them. They come running in the house. I closed the door and just see the 2 dogs standing there and did not even hesitate. Picked up a firearm, went outside, and I'm yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs.
So you almost shot a dog in front of your kids?
Yeah. I've never seen Dad yell like that. So, and for the first, hell, for the next year or so afterwards, they, couldn't be in a room with a dog. And that hit me pretty hard.
Major Allison Brager, a research psychologist for the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center at Fort Liberty, says Eric is not alone. The latest theory, blast waves from troops' own weapons could be damaging their brains.
If you think about blast, it's these high-energy physical waves coming in through the nose, the mouth, the ears, even the membrane that separates the eyeball. And it's also crossing these tissues and then hitting the brain. When you look at symptoms and behavioral and neurocognitive issues, It's the full gamut. It's sleep, it's attention, it's vigilance, it's decision-making, all because the gray matter and the white matter of the brain are impacted.
Do we know that blast overpressure can cause damage to the brain?
No, we don't. It's a complex problem, and at present, what the science we have, again, recruiting world-class researchers to this problem, is it's an association at best.
It's a mystery the military has been trying to solve for more than 15 years. Dr. Brian Edlow, a Harvard professor of neurology, led a recent study with the U.S. military on blast exposure. He says scans of 30 active duty special operations forces found that the more troops were exposed to blast waves, the more physical changes there were to the brains.
And in some cases, individuals have died by suicide, have donated their brains to science, and pathologists have found extensive scarring within their brain that is believed to be caused by blast.
There is no way to test specifically for a blast wave injury, which researchers believe is different than the kind of sudden concussive trauma seen in football players. That lack of a diagnosis has left many troops, like former Army Sergeant Justin Andes, in limbo. 3 years after leaving the Army, Andes is still trying to get a diagnosis for a traumatic brain injury in the hopes the VA will cover a specialized treatment program for him in Pittsburgh. Andes joined the Army in 2018, firing what he estimates to be as many as 12,000 mortars during his training at Fort Johnson in Louisiana. He now struggles with hearing and memory loss.
I was playing Legos with my kid, and while I was looking for the Lego, I would forget what Lego I was looking for, even though that was the only thing I was concentrating on. I was actively concentrating, and then I just all of a sudden I'd be like, huh, what am I doing?
Then one night, he told his wife, Kristen, she deserved better and picked up an AR-15. She says she kicked the gun away, realizing in that moment just how badly her husband needed help.
I love him, and we've been together forever, and we did have plans, and it's hard watching it. It breaks my heart.
Is it hard being a father and having this injury?
Yes, and sorry, it just made me think, like, I know I'm probably going to get dementia at a very young age. And it sucks because there's nothing I can do to, be sure my family's set for success.
U.S. Special Operations Command says it's racing to test new technologies and change how troops train for combat. So we're at Range 37. This is where the Army Special Forces train every day. One of the first things that you're going to see is that this roof is raised up. These walls are now made of rubber. It's no longer made of concrete. The idea is to reduce the amount of blast overpressure that these soldiers experience. Using suppressors on their rifles as they clear room after room. And when they practice breaching doors over and over like this, they sometimes now use a special charge designed to reduce blast pressures, seen here on this steel plate. The new charge, called Machete, barely moves the plate. Unlike the traditional charge, all of it to try to lessen exposure that could lead to brain injury.
Throwing this ball toward each other, maintaining your balance as you
And for Eric and other active duty troops on base, there is also this, a multi-million-dollar brain health clinic staffed with specialized therapists.
We're going to start with the first line.
From balance tests to memory games to using virtual reality.
All the way to the right. Touch the wall. You're really, really right over there.
The idea is to rewire and heal the brain.
I truly believe that the human brain is the most important weapon system. When you think about the complexities of our jobs and the decisions we're asked to make, that requires the human brain. And we need to preserve, protect, and optimize, and even enhance the human brain as much as possible.
And starting next year, the Defense Department will give cognitive baseline tests to everyone joining the military, whether they deploy or not. It also says it's imposing new rules for how close troops can get when firing certain weapons and how often they can fire them. The culture is changing too, with more troops willing to raise their hands now for help.
I see this, that's one of my jobs now. It's one of my, duties and responsibilities is to educate those I'm around. So not taking care of myself until I hit 20 years, that's an example of what not to do, but you can still learn from it.
Fire! Fire! Those hard lessons arriving too late for many soldiers.
Right.
Including Andy's, who says his treatment plan is unclear, his path forward uncertain.
I didn't plan on being stuck dilly-dallying around my house the rest of my life rather than having a career and just getting VA supplements. So it sucks. Like, I was hoping to do things.
So many devastated after giving so much for their country. Our thanks to Ann Flaherty for that. So much more to get to tonight. To compensate victims of sexual abuse, the Boy Scouts of America is making some hard choices in order to stay afloat, selling off part of its collection of classic paintings by Norman Rockwell. But next, paying tribute to our veterans by the numbers.
How many elephants have you killed?
True natural beauty, one of the last of its kind. But this comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger,
We have to go.
and deceit. Where are we going next? We got this ongoing search for the animal we've been trying to find. These are the last lands. The national parks around the world that have to be saved.
Yo, partner.
We're not partners. I'm the detective and you are the consultant. I see you brought your baby to a crime scene.
She is just spectating.
You're a single mom with 3 kids pretending to be a cop.
I am not pretending. I spot things that detectives miss. Still think my theory's flimsy?
That big brain of hers is going to help us close a lot of cases.
I'm just out here super copping.
High Potential, all new Tuesday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Are you ready? Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too. I'll be there.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
Michael, George, Clara, Ginger.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
In downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
ABC News Live everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Here in London.
From the front lines.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
Baby, oh baby. It was one of the most joyous mornings ever in GMA history.
Okay, and push now. Push 1, 2, 3. Baby's out. Baby boy.
Babies being born in 3 different hospitals live on GMA.
Oh, that's so incredible.
So what's more amazing than being born on TV?
We've had 4 babies so
That's
far.
right.
It's just a beautiful moment.
Well, how about over 22 years later, coming back to GMA? Just wait until you see this live reunion. Baby, oh baby. What a way to celebrate GMA at 50. Thursday.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story. As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live.
Right there, as events unfold across the day, breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
Reporting from Dallas, Texas on Election Day, I'm John Quinones. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, November 11th, marks the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I, and a day to honor all Americans who have served in the country's armed forces. Our Veterans Day tribute by the numbers. There are more than 16 million military veterans in the U.S. That's about 6% of the total population over the age of 18. Roughly 3/4 of today's veterans served during wartime. More than 100,000 World War II veterans are still alive, including about 6,000 women. More than 6 million served in Vietnam or Korea, and nearly 8 million served in the Gulf War era, including 2.5 million veterans who have served since the 9/11 attacks. Women make up 17% of relatively recent veterans. 80% of post-9/11 veterans spent time in an overseas combat zone. 30% have disabilities as a result of their service, and it's estimated 300,000 post-9/11 veterans have psychological wounds like post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury. And we end with the most poignant number. 84% of post-9/11 veterans say that the American public has little awareness of the challenges facing them and their families, and we do thank them for their service. We still have much more ahead here on Prime this Veterans Day. 1 in 5 active duty military and veteran families struggle to put food on the table. We meet a veteran who's digging in to help. Plus, we have an update on those monkeys that escaped from a medical research facility in South Carolina. Stay with us.
Did you kill Mary Yoder?
Sorry. No, I did not kill Mary Yoder. So it was a normal day until Mary started getting sick. No one really knew what was happening.
Her eyes just looked terrified. In less than 48 hours, my mom went from her healthy self to having died.
This is a mystery. How did she die? They begin to do this autopsy.
It's just screaming, toxin, toxin, toxin.
Did somebody intentionally do this to her?
When the tests came back, I thought, yo, holy, are you kidding me?
I had dated Adam. I was scared of him. It changed the way I see the world.
She was really afraid for her life.
I do think Bill could have killed Mary. His wife died in July, and in November, he was dating his sister-in-law.
There was nothing in the world that was making sense at that point.
Caitlin Conley was guilty as sin.
Are you okay?
I'm sorry, I'm scared.
This girl thought she was smarter than everybody else. But there's another side to Caitlin Conley.
Well, I'm not buying this little Miss Innocent game.
Sequoia's a very small town. Everybody knows everybody.
My garden club is very divided. People think she's innocent. I think she's guilty.
Never heard of a case like this. Maybe a thriller.
It was pure evil.
We weren't quite sure what was coming next.
I know it wasn't me. Sorry. So, if it wasn't me, who was it?
Little Miss Innocent. Passion, poison, prison. Only on Hulu.
You're watching America's #1 streaming news, ABC News Live. Breaking news, exclusives, live reporting across the globe. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first.
I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what?
The View.
I love it. I'm all in. Second that. This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
The wicked mistake that has a major toy maker apologizing, a daring rescue at sea, and one of the last two remaining survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre marks a major milestone. These stories and more in tonight's Rundown.
Mattel is apologizing after boxes for some of its new dolls from the movie Wicked included a link to a pornographic website. The packages for the dolls were printed with a web address to an adult film site with the same name as the upcoming movie musical starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Mattel says the error was a misprint and it's taking immediate action to fix the situation. More than half of the monkeys bred for medical research that escaped from a facility in South Carolina last week have now been recovered unharmed, according to officials. Officials saying an employee did not fully lock a door at that medical research facility. The monkeys then made a break for it. All of the animals are about the size of a cat and pose no risk to public health. A Disney Cruise Line ship rescued 4 people from a sinking catamaran in Bermuda on Sunday. The 50-foot catamaran called the Serenity was about 230 miles off the coast of Bermuda when a gasket failure in the escape hatch caused the vessel to begin taking on water. The Disney Treasure, which was about 80 miles away, launched one of its small boats and rescued all 4 passengers on board the catamaran. Dozens of paintings by Norman Rockwell will be put up for auction this week. The paintings come from the collection of the Boy Scouts of America, which is selling assets in order to compensate sexual abuse victims. Hoping to survive a barrage of sexual abuse claims, the Boy Scouts filed for bankruptcy in 2020. The $2.4 billion bankruptcy plan, among the nation's biggest and most complex, allowed the organization to continue operating while it compensated survivors. The collection includes 60 works done by Rockwell, who worked for the scouting publication Boy's Life early in his career. The deadline to collect part of the Cash App settlement is quickly approaching. Customers who use the service since 2018 have until next week to claim their share of a $15 million settlement from a class action lawsuit. Users who had their account accessed without permission or had unauthorized withdrawals or transfers can file a claim for up to $2,500. The settlement does not say when affected customers can expect to be paid. Leslie Bedingfield Randall, known as Mother Randall, is one of the last 2 known living survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre, and on Sunday, she celebrated her 110th birthday surrounded by family, friends, and members of the community. Randall was a young girl when she survived the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, a deadly attack by a white mob on Tulsa's Greenwood section, a thriving black neighborhood known as Black Wall Street. The attack is now being reviewed by the Justice Department in an attempt to bring justice for the families and their descendants.
It is another big year for jazz sensation Samara Joy. The silky voice star just received 2 Grammy nominations last week and already has 3 Grammy wins under her belt, including Best New Artist in 2023. Now the vocalist, songwriter, arranger, and band leader has released her 3rd studio album, Portrait, featuring original songs and new arrangements of classic jazz songs like Autumn Nocturne. Let's take a listen.
Then I remember in September you and I said goodbye.
And joining us now, the voice, Samara Joy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending it with us.
Absolutely.
So, not a bad gift to get 2 more nominations, right?
Yeah.
Including Best Jazz Performance and Best Jazz Vocal Album. How does it feel?
It feels pretty surreal, honestly. The past couple of years, I graduated from undergrad in May of 2021. So to have this be my post-grad experience the past couple of years has been really, really beautiful. I'm grateful for it all.
And so tell us about Portrait. You have said that this represents where you are now. How does that translate into music?
I would say my strengths and the lessons that I've learned over the past couple of years are represented on this album. My curiosity, my creativity, my willingness, I guess, to collaborate with my peers and create and cultivate a sound with them that is kind of unique and fresh, still inspired by many, but still uniquely our own at the same time.
And how do you go about putting a new spin kind of on some old tunes that people know very well, the classics?
I try not to force it, honestly, because The reality is I am now 25 in 2024, and I've had a beautiful I guess, legacy of music in my family with my dad and my grandparents, and just a different way of interpreting music, no matter how old the song is. And so because of that, I, along with my peers on this album, are just able to express ourselves through music from our perspective as 20-year-olds.
And you've talked before about your family and how that's kind of left some fingerprints on your style when it comes to different music. Talk to us specifically about the role that the gospel roots play.
They play a significant part. My grandparents had a choir in Philly called the Savettes of Philadelphia. My grandfather, Elder Goldwire McClendon, just turned 94 years old.
Wow.
And so to have him here, to have a recorded legacy of my family's history and music, to have my dad taking me and my siblings to and from school, listening to music, harmonizing together, I would say that same power and that same goal of collaboration and of thinking of something higher than myself, of using my gifts or using whatever I've been given to share with other people and to kind of spread a bigger message beyond myself, I think is the goal, and it translates to what I do now.
And this winter, you're going to be heading out on your a joyful holiday tour, which features some of your family members. Tell us what you're most looking forward to about that.
Well, we got the chance to go last year, and it was such a success. I knew that I wanted to try it again, and I wanted to go back out on the road and just show people where I come from. I find that, you know, I guess what drew people to me in the first place was the fact that I was being myself and expressing myself authentically through music and using my voice. And so now, with this tour, I get the opportunity to show them how it came to be, and the people who supported me when I didn't have a plan B, you know, how they help me along and how I can highlight them and put the spotlight on them and their voices because they inspired me so much.
You know, we talked about how you're turning just 25 years old today. By most accounts, that's young. And normally jazz kind of comes across as an old soul kind of music. So one, what attracted you to it? And what would you say to younger generations who maybe haven't even given jazz a chance?
Well, I would say what attracted me to jazz, me personally having no background in it growing up, was how modern it was and how contemporary it was. I didn't listen to Sarah Vaughan or Ella Fitzgerald growing up, but when I got the chance to, I realized just how forward-thinking they were and how much they were creating and how much music they were making with their voice. The same with other musicians in this art form. And so I guess their authenticity and their talent and their genius is what attracted me to the music first. And I would say for anybody who, you know, hasn't given jazz a chance yet, listen to Portrait, but also just keep an open mind, because all the music that you're listening to now, everything that's popular, it had to come from something.
Sure.
So I'm glad to be offering at least one perspective of what it looks like to be inspired by an art form and then interpret it in my own voice.
Samara, no more blues joy. We thank you so much for coming by. You can listen to Samara's third studio album, Portrait, wherever you stream your music. On this Veterans Day, we want to acknowledge the servicemen and women who have sacrificed so much for our country. According to the Military Family Advisory Network, 1 in 5 active duty military and veteran families experience food insecurity, and that number is on the rise. In an effort to help change this, one veteran in Maryland is taking matters into his own hands. ABC's Perry Russum has that story.
Pull this one up. There it is. It's beautiful.
The whole property is about 7 acres.
On this farm in Brandywine, Maryland,
the rhubarb is a stalk.
Peter Scott shows us the rhubarb, kale, and peppers.
These peppers, they take a long time to come into fruit, but when they do, they really produce.
How much of this did you know before you started?
None of it. None of it, yeah.
He found this farm years ago.
I saw potential here.
As he was searching for himself.
I was just I was at a place in life where I needed to do something, and I needed to feel like it was something good after my time in service.
Peter's story starts in the mountains of Afghanistan.
You right, Pete?
Where he served as a U.S. Army counterintelligence agent assigned to Special Forces.
I separated after about 12 years of service. I thought I was fine, but a few years went by and I was not fine. Reached a moment with my family where it was go get help or get out. And I decided to go get help.
He spent 6 months at an inpatient program for combat PTSD.
I've seen some combat. Been asked to do things that maybe morally I don't feel good about. But I'm not alone in that. You know, it's a very human condition. It's hard to conduct yourself in war. And I think anybody would feel that similar way.
Do you feel like this farm is your reconciliation?
I for sure do, yeah. This project has been my penance.
His project is called Fields for Valor. What he grows, he gives away to veterans in the Washington, D.C. area.
Because of disability pay, a lot of times you are classed out of receiving any kind of assistance.
Since 2016, he says he's fed 500 veterans. Shara Sims is a disabled Air Force veteran.
This is liquid gold in my house.
She picks up groceries every week.
It actually allows me, my child, and other family members that I share with to get fresh fruit and fresh honey that we don't necessarily get in the stores because it's extra expensive.
With everything you're giving away, how do you find money to keep this thing afloat?
Well, we live and die on everybody's goodwill.
The farm is run almost entirely by volunteers, from 1-year-old Lila helping her mom to military members from nearby Joint Base Andrews we met in September.
So who needs machines? We have Marines.
Every day, the chicken coops are checked for eggs. It's like Easter. Keep finding them. The eggs are soaked, washed, and boxed. 30 dozen eggs a week.
2 eggs?
Eggs, yeah.
Whatever food is left over is sold at a nearby market to help fund the farm.
Try the food in the field.
Say less.
That is so fresh. Yeah, it's nice and sweet.
A farmer finding his purpose, feeding veterans, nourishing himself.
I have learned a lot about myself through running the farm on day to day, and been able to grow some confidence and some skills and community through it.
This is a major undertaking every day. You've been doing this for years. How long do you plan on doing this?
Well, I think something like Fields for Valor should exist as long as the need is there, because that's not going away, and we need to figure out some better ways to reach this population.
Better way forward. Our thanks to Perry Russom for that. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, who President-elect Trump is naming for top jobs and what it might reveal about his plans for the presidency. But first, a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Haiti caught in the crosshairs as violence erupts in the island nation.
(911), what's your emergency?
Now streaming, 911 is delightfully wild.
You ever seen anything like this before? It's a V-NATO.
It's one of the most compelling.
You managed to get a 400-pound tiger into a studio apartment.
And explosive.
Athena's on that flight, isn't she?
She's flying it. Shows on television.
I love you.
Tell me in person.
911, Thursdays on ABC and stream on Hulu.
A Hollywood studio want us to make a movie of our podcast.
It's a fabulous cast.
Action. I'm nervous playing you. The fearlessness, the complexity.
Oh, stop. Unless you had more to say.
I don't need an algorithm to tell me that this is box office gold.
Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu and for bundle subscribers on Disney+. Wednesday night.
Oh my God.
We're back. The biggest and best season yet.
Oh, no way.
John Fiona's here. What would you do?
Here we go.
So the question is,
what would you do?
You see somebody in trouble, try to help.
Can I give you a hug? Is that okay?
You have tears in your eyes.
Thank you for standing up for us.
Oh my God! Look at John! It's what would you do? I'm on it, girl.
now on Wednesday nights on ABC.
When you're 61 years old, you have very few opportunities to change your life. This time, I have to be ready. This is about everybody like me. I see a future, which is not what I felt like for a really long time. I don't feel invisible now.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions.
Operational nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you. David, good to meet you.
Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, including a verdict is reached in the high-profile Delphi murder case. The defendant accused of killing 2 teenage girls while they were out on a hike. One of the victims recording their killer on her cell phone. Plus, dangerous wildfires burn in the Northeast. Drought conditions create a wildfire emergency across multiple states. And Princess Kate returns to her royal duties. But we do begin with the terrifying flight from Fort Lauderdale to Haiti. A Spirit Airline passenger jet struck by gunfire as it approached the airport in Port-au-Prince. The pilot quickly pulling up, diverting the plane. This video shows bullet holes inside the plane after it landed in Santo Domingo, one piercing a wall, others striking an overhead bin. A flight attendant was treated for minor injuries. And tonight, American and JetBlue have suspended all flights to Haiti. Gio Benitez leads us off.
You're looking at the inside of a Spirit Airlines jet damaged by a barrage of bullets fired by Haitian gangs as it came in for landing at Port-au-Prince, Haiti, full of passengers. Flight data shows the plane that left from Fort Lauderdale Monday morning descending to 550 feet before it was hit by gunfire, bypassing the runway and diverting to the Dominican Republic, where it landed safely. The airline says one flight attendant was treated for minor injuries. Jean-David Derouleau was on that plane. He says the wheels were down, getting ready for landing when the bullets entered the cabin.
I heard clock, 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 3 times. And a couple of us in the plane, we recognized the noise as being gunshots.
The FAA saying tonight 2 other flights bound for Haiti were also diverted as a precaution. The State Department warning of gang-led efforts to stop travel into the country. The airport is now closed. It was just last month when a UN helicopter with 18 people on board was also fired upon by gangs. It also diverted and no one was injured. Earlier this year, gunmen perched on rooftops were seen shooting at parked planes on the runway. Tonight, Spirit Airlines saying that plane is out of service and it is suspending flights to both major airports in Haiti pending an investigation.
Our thanks to Gio Benitez. Next tonight, President-elect Donald Trump is moving quickly on his #1 priority, mass deportations, tapping hardliner Tom Homan to be his border czar, and longtime aide Stephen Miller to a top policy position. And we've just learned President-elect Trump has asked Florida Republican Mike Waltz to be his national security advisor. This comes after he announced 2 New Yorkers for top spots in his administration, Elise Stefanik for UN ambassador, and former Representative Lee Zeldin for EPA chief. Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, Donald Trump filling out his administration, naming 2 longtime loyalists to implement his signature campaign promise, an immigration crackdown featuring the largest deportation program America has ever seen. Trump set to announce his former senior White House advisor, Stephen Miller, as deputy chief of staff for policy. Miller, an immigration hardliner, has made it clear he wants all undocumented immigrants out of the country.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
Trump today also announcing his former ICE director, Tom Homan, will fill the new role of border czar. The president-elect saying Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Trump has not said how the mass deportation would happen or how much it would cost. But Homan this morning saying criminals would be the first to go.
President Trump's been clear. Public safety threats
and national security threats will be the priority, because they have to be. They pose the most danger to this country. So we're going to prioritize those groups.
During his time leading ICE during the first Trump administration, thousands of migrants were separated from their children. On 60 Minutes, he was recently asked if that would happen again.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Both Miller and Homan are deeply loyal to Donald Trump, a critical factor as the president-elect builds out his White House team. Today, Trump announcing one of his chief defenders in Congress, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik of New York, will be his new ambassador to the United Nations, and former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin will serve as EPA administrator. On the flip side, Trump publicly icing out two former administration officials who have criticized him, writing on social media, "I will not be inviting former Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join the Trump administration."
Our thanks to Rachel Scott for that. Now to the guilty verdict in a case that captivated the nation, the murder of two young girls, best friends, Libby German and Abby Williams, while they were walking on a trail in Delphi, Indiana, nearly 8 years ago. Tonight, a jury has convicted Richard Allen on all counts. Alex Perez reports from Delphi.
Nearly 8 years after the horrific murders of two girls rocked the small town of Delphi, Indiana, making national headlines, a jury finding Richard Allen, a local husband and father, guilty. Outside the courthouse, cheers. The verdict, a relief for many in this community.
Today is the day. It's been a long time coming.
The bodies of 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German were found with their throats slashed the day after they vanished during a hike. Police credited Libby for capturing critical evidence right before the murders, grainy video of their killer along with that chilling audio.
This young lady's a hero, there's no doubt. To have enough presence of mind to activate the video system on her cell phone.
There was no DNA evidence, but prosecutors linked an unspent bullet from the crime scene to Allen's gun. The heartbroken families would wait years for a trial.
I had so much faith that our detectives would keep working on this until they got our answers and justice for the girls.
Allen admitted to the murders more than 60 times, the defense calling them false confessions, saying he was psychotic from months of solitary confinement. But the jury listened intently to Allen confessing to his wife in jailhouse phone calls. A psychologist testifying Allen told her he wanted to rape the girls but ended up killing them when he got startled by someone passing by.
So horrific. Our thanks to Alex for that. Now to the wildfires on both coasts tonight. New wind advisories for western wildfires, while fires in the Northeast continue to be fueled by drought. The Jennings Creek fire on the New York-New Jersey border burning more than 5,000 acres. Local fire departments stepping in to help fight the flames. Ginger Z will have the forecast, but first, Trevor Holt is on the fire line in New Jersey.
Tonight, apocalyptic scenes from an out-of-control wildfire burning just outside New York City.
It is almost impossible for the fire department to get to these as these pockets continue to burn completely out of control.
Black Hawk helicopters from the National Guard now joining in the fight.
These local resources have been running and gunning since Saturday when this thing really blew up.
The Jennings Creek fire burning more than 5,000 acres along the New York-New Jersey border. And it's now deadly after authorities say a tree fell on 18-year-old Dariel Vasquez, killing him as he helped clear brush for firefighters. Emotional family, friends, and teammates gathering at his alma mater, releasing balloons in remembrance of the star high school athlete.
He was a really good friend. If you needed help, he was going to be there to back you up.
Extreme drought conditions have been fueling multiple fires in the Northeast. In New York City over the weekend, the FDNY fighting flames in Brooklyn's Prospect Park. Meanwhile, in the West, containment is up on the mountain fire outside Los Angeles. Authorities say nearly 250 structures have been damaged or destroyed.
Those winds very problematic. Trevor, thank you. Let's get right to ABC's chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, who's tracking it all for us. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Lindsay, yes, we're starting with the drought issue, right? We've had Philadelphia that smashed their record of consecutive days without rain. It was 42. We finally got that measly little bit last night, but that was not going to dent any of these deficits. Some of us in the 6 to even 10-inch range as far as how much we should have had extra for the season, but have not. So drought's the foundation of the problem, but tonight we're going to get this cold front, and that's going to come through with a lot of wind, and it's going to drop relative humidity as low as 30%. So you see Long Island, Lower Hudson Valley, all of Connecticut, all of Massachusetts covered. From Vermont down to Maryland, including all of Delaware, you've got an elevated risk of fire. So we're going to be watching the Northeast, but we also have to check in, especially on that mountain fire there in Ventura County, California. They're still having a windy night, and through tomorrow morning, some of those wind advisories will have gusts upwards of 50, 60 miles per hour in some of the highest elevations. And it's going to become a very active pattern, but especially to the Pacific Northwest. Unfortunately, a lot of the frontal systems that are going to pass aren't going to bring a ton of moisture down into, say, Ventura County, like, you know, to Malibu or something, but you could, by the end of the week, start to see some snowflakes in some of those higher elevations in the Sierra Nevada and up through the Cascades for sure. Just 2 to 6 inches there at the coast and easily 6 to 12 inches of snow in parts of the Cascades and Sierra. Lindsay?
I'm sure they will welcome any form of precipitation there. Ginger, our thanks to you. Still much more to get to. We meet two couples who say they are proof twins have a uniquely special bond. But next, what new satellite photos reveal about what Israel is doing along their disputed border with Syria.
How many elephants have you killed? True natural beauty, one of the last of its kind. But this comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger,
We have to go.
and deceit. Where are we going next? We got this ongoing search for the animal we've been trying to find. These are the last lands. The national parks around the world that have to be saved.
Baby, oh baby. It was one of the most joyous mornings ever in GMA history.
Okay, and push now. Push 1, 2, 3. Baby's out. Baby boy.
Babies being born in 3 different hospitals live on GMA.
Oh, that's so incredible.
So what's more amazing than being born on TV?
We've had 4 babies so
That's
far.
right.
It's just a beautiful moment.
Well, how about over 22 years later, coming back to GMA? Just wait until you see this live reunion. Baby, oh baby. What a way to celebrate GMA at 50. Thursday.
This ship is heaven. There should be no guilt on a pleasure cruise. Doctor, it's your job to keep everybody alive.
No pulse. She's in VFib. 1, 2, 3. Clear.
I have a pulse.
You're gonna be okay.
Reporting from the path of Hurricane Helene in Tallahassee, Florida, I'm Mike Ajachi. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Satellite photos analyzed by the Associated Press appear to show that Israel has started a construction project along the so-called Alpha Line, which separates the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights from Syria, apparently laying asphalt for a road along the frontier. The Alpha Line delineates the demilitarized zone between Syria and Israeli-occupied territory that UN peacekeepers have patrolled since 1974. Syria, which has been at war with Israel since its founding in 1948 and relies on Iran for support, has remained silent. A 5-story apartment building in Ukraine was hit by a Russian ballistic missile, one of several attacks in southern and eastern Ukraine, killing at least 6 civilians. It comes as Russia has reportedly gathered 50,000 troops, including North Korean soldiers, as part of an expected new major offensive to drive Ukrainian troops out of the southwestern region of Russia. Princess Catherine returned to royal duties after completing her cancer treatments. She joined Prince William and King Charles for the annual Remembrance Day ceremonies in London. The king also recently returned following his own battle with cancer. It is said that twins share a special bond, a belief endorsed by the two sets of identical siblings you're about to meet. So, of course, they found their happily ever after by finding each other. ABC's Dr. Darian Sutton has their story.
It might feel like you're seeing double, but this is just another day in the life of Brittany, Brianna, Josh, and Jeremy.
I don't want to get confused. So we have Brianna.
Almost, so close. Brianna's right here.
I spent time memorizing, trying to see if I can find the differences, but it's really, really difficult.
Right. We understand.
Meet the Sawyers, two sets of identical twins, now married, living and working together in Virginia, and sharing everything from parenting duties to bank accounts. How they met, their unique living situation, running a wedding venue and raising a family together, almost as surprising as the unbelievable truth about their children.
When you were younger, did you see yourself where you're sitting now?
Absolutely not. No. We were like, well, we'll probably never have kids. And if we are going to get married, we would have to be married to twins. We just kind of accepted that that was going to be a long shot.
I would assume that the idea of marrying twins was more of a joke instead of thinking that that could be reality.
Right. It's like something that, just this unobtainable thing. But if it was, that'd be great. So we didn't take it as seriously.
America has been long fascinated with twins. From real-life twins like Mary Kate and Ashley, and Jonathan and Drew, the Property Brothers on HGTV.
We're like twins.
To the fictional twins we know and love, like Lindsay Lohan's characters in Parent Trap. The Shining's spooky sisters.
Come play with us, Daddy.
And now, the Sawyers, the latest celebrities in the twin world, catching the attention of TLC.
Being apart from my identical twin for even an hour is tough.
When you were younger, did you have dreams about this experience?
We absolutely always did dream about if we got married, we would want it to be two identical twin men.
How do you find in this world another pair of twins that you're both interested in?
Right, exactly, because a lot of things have to align, right? Stars had to align, and they did.
The stars aligning at the Twins Day Festival in 2017. The event claims to be the largest annual gathering of twins and multiples in the world.
It's really amazing. So it's already this sort of magical place. And then there's like this nighttime party for adult twins, and they came over, and we had already seen them earlier in the festival and didn't get to talk with them. So when they approached us, it was like yes, because they were so handsome, so we'd wanted to meet them.
When you were packing up your stuff to go to it, were you prepared to meet your wives?
It was a little bit. It's not that we went there like on the prowl. Right? It wasn't quite like that, but it was back there that, maybe that could happen.
And Jeremy and I really were attracted to each other and started gravitating towards each other, and Brittany and Josh started, so it was like perfectly kind of paired off.
That's a common question. How'd you guys decide who goes with who? It was just from the very beginning.
6 months later, the brothers popping the question together with matching rings, of course.
I remember this, February 2nd.
It was so it was, it was this amazing double proposal, and it was so beautiful. We even said yes at the same moment.
1 year later, the couples returned to Twinsburg, getting hitched in a joint ceremony.
What do you think is the most common misconception about your life?
I think there are people who wonder if it's a polygamous situation, and that's very not the case. We share finances and all of that, but we're not sharing spouses. No, each twin gets their own partner.
You're always going to get some ugly comments and things like that, of course. I think you have to kind of keep a sense of humor about it, you know, and also understand that, these people don't know us at all. They're looking at the situation and they're questioning the situation.
And as a twin myself, also working alongside my fraternal twin brother, I had to ask, do you get each other confused at any point?
So we have had our moments. We can usually tell them apart. And they all look alike, so from the side, from the back, maybe you gotta be a little extra careful because it's a double chance of the confusion happening. Right. And no one can be annoyed. It's only a matter of time before that's gonna happen to them, mixing us up.
Getting things mixed up? Not the biggest surprise of all. Each couple's sons, also biologically considered genetic siblings, technically cousins, but with DNA close enough to be brothers.
Your kids are, by definition, biologically siblings.
Exactly.
Because you both have the same DNA, and your husbands have the same DNA.
Exactly. So because they are genetic brothers and they were born less than 9 or 10 months of each other, they're genetic brothers the same age, and that is quaternary twins.
Do you have them see each other as brothers?
We do. Yes, we do. They'll say my brother, not my cousin.
Right. The sisters twinning even in pregnancy.
We really wanted to have overlapping pregnancies. It didn't have to be like we were giving birth on the same day, but we really wanted to be pregnant together.
Brianna and I, we each went through miscarriages. And so the pressure, when it's the situation of identical twins married to identical twins, you know, part of the, I don't know, the intrigue and fun of it is staying on the same page of life.
It's a big relief when they got to overlap their pregnancies like that, kind of experience that together.
Pretty much
we wanted that for them.
Their boys, Jax and Jet, now say they have 2 moms and 2 dads.
The moment I became a mom, she became a mom, yes.
Jeremy and I, when it happened, it was like, we looked at each other and it was, yes, we also felt like, oh my gosh, you know.
We're parents.
So now as twin moms, raising your sons, is it almost as if you each have 2 sons?
Yes. I'll usually say something like, so we have 2 3-year-olds at our house. So we don't have to go into the whole thing, but we definitely feel like
we beat the system.
We beat the system.
We each got 2. We only had to, you know, carry 1 child each, but we each have 2.
Yes, we definitely all 4 raise both.
Those are my mom and daddy on the other house.
No, that has to be your mommy and daddy, and then your mommy and daddy are over here.
No, that's Jet's mom and dad. That's still the army.
Oh, together since birth, and planning to share their whole lives side by side. Each set of twins still doing most things alike, nearly always eating, exercising, and dressing the same.
Haircuts at the same time?
Yes. Always, yes.
Yeah. The idea is that you do similar things in order to make sure that you have similar outcomes. Is that true in terms of lifespan and longevity?
Yes, definitely. So we would ideally, you know, go through life completely together. And so things like diet and exercise and health, we prefer to be identical.
No, it's both then.
You guys!
With more similarities than differences, the Sawyers say they like it that way.
If I'm going to go, you know, jump on the trampoline or, you know, I'll go tell Brittany. And it would be weird if I went and did it by myself and didn't tell her.
Would you think that would be strange if Brianna randomly decided to go and jump on a trampoline?
Without telling me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
An undeniable bond. Our thanks to Dr. Sutton for that. And still to come, standing up for heroes as we mark the service and sacrifices made by our troops.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
In downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
ABC News Live everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Here in London. From the front lines.
Off the coast of Gaza. Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere.
When you're 61 years old, you have very few opportunities to change your life. This time, I have to be ready. This is about everybody like me. I see a future, which is not what I felt like for a really long time. I don't feel invisible now.
Wednesday night.
Oh my God.
We're back. The biggest and best season yet.
Oh, no way.
John Fiona's here. What would you do?
Here we go.
So the question is,
what would you do?
You see somebody in trouble, try to help. Can I give you a hug? Is that okay?
You have tears in your eyes.
Thank you for standing up for us.
Oh my God! Look at John! It's what would you do? I'm on it, girl.
Now on Wednesday nights on ABC.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first. I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what? The View. I love it. I'm all in.
Second that. This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
Finally tonight on this Veterans Day, as we do every year, we join Bob Woodruff to stand up for heroes. Here's World News Tonight anchor David Muir.
Tonight on this Veterans Day, we honor our nation's heroes and those who have made it their mission to support our troops when they come home. Our friend and colleague Bob Woodruff, who you'll remember was badly injured by a roadside bomb while on assignment in Iraq in 2006.
Oh, it's so great to be home.
His remarkable recovery, and for 18 years now, he and his wife Lee standing up for heroes.
She looks straight back.
Comedians, musicians, Bruce Springsteen among them, all coming together tonight for their annual fundraiser.
Both of you still think you've got a lot of work to do. Says a lot about the two of you.
We thought it was going to last about a year. We'd need this for a year, maybe 2 years. We never expected this, but it's a good sign that people really care and they want to do something.
Well, you've given folks such a gift.
You got to use your story to do good.
Tonight, the founder of Craigslist, Craig Newmark, with another astounding donation. $100 million going to help veteran organizations, among them the Bob Woodruff Foundation. It was our own Martha Raddatz who first sat down with Craig with his first donation, making the announcement right here on World News Tonight.
What you're doing and the money you're donating is a remarkable amount.
Thanks. My whole philanthropy deal is basically that I should help and defend and protect the people who defend and protect our country.
And tonight, that money already being put to work. In Richmond Hill, Georgia, outside Savannah, Sergeant First Class John Bonez and his family hit hard by Hurricane Debbie.
Everything below the paint was removed from the house completely.
The nonprofit Army Emergency Relief working with his family to get them immediate help, and then a grant with money from Bob Woodruff's foundation to help them rebuild. And right here tonight,
hello, David.
Sergeant First Class Bonez and his wife Christina and their family.
My family and I would really like to thank a lot of the services and organizations that helped us out.
Words can't even express how thankful our family is for everyone who has helped out.
Joining us too, Army Emergency Relief's CEO, Army veteran Tony Grinston.
You don't want soldiers to have to worry about protecting the country and, oh, by the way, where's my family going to live? So it's really nice that we could help him get back into his home.
And in Asheville, North Carolina, the nonprofit Veterans Services at the Carolinas rebuilding after Hurricane Helene. 250 veterans living here in the Asheville-Buncombe Community Christian Ministries Veterans Restoration Quarters.
Hi, David.
Their Chief Administrative Officer, Tim McLeay, with a message for Bob.
Bob, we're just so grateful for all that you've done here for us, and we're definitely dedicated to getting this facility restored and bringing back the home that our veterans lived in.
Tonight, the veterans here grateful too.
How you doing, David?
Air Force veteran Derek Sutton.
The Veteran Services of the Carolinas and the Bob Woodruff Foundation have been instrumental in helping me get clothing, helping me get transportation, helping me get to and fro to the places I need to restore my life.
And we, in turn, thank our veterans for their service, our appreciation to Bob Woodruff for all he does, and David Muir for bringing us that. That is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you so much for streaming with us.
Wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City, getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
How many elephants have you killed? True natural beauty, one of the last of its kind. But this comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger,
We have to go.
and deceit. Where are we going next? We got this ongoing search for the animal we've been trying to find. These are the last lands. The national parks around the world
that have to be saved.
When you're 61 years old, you have very few opportunities to change your life. This time, I have to be ready. This is about everybody like me. I see a future, which is not what I felt like for a really long time. I don't feel invisible now.
Yo, partner.
We're not partners. I'm the detective and you are the consultant. I see you brought your baby to a crime scene.
She is just spectating.
You're a single mom with 3 kids pretending to be a cop.
I am not pretending. I spot things that detectives miss. Still think my theory's flimsy?
That big brain of hers is going to help us close a lot of cases.
I'm just out here super copping.
High Potential, all new Tuesday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Reporting from the protests at Columbia University, I'm Stephanie Ramos. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.